Tuli mu parliament n'omukulembeze Kyagulanyi Ssentamu abakulembeze ab'enjawulo parliament oba mu bibiina eb'enjawulo abali mu parliament okulaba nga ate tutereeza eggwanga lyaffe tugoba nnakyemalira General Kaguta Museveni ensi yaffe esobole amaggwete okutereerera ddala.
Here with us are various leaders of political parties within the opposition and entities. As the opposition in Parliament, we are only playing host to this meeting, but it's really being headlined by our senior leaders of the various political parties. I also want to take the opportunity to welcome members of Parliament who are here. I know it's busy, there's numerous engagements in the constituencies and elsewhere, but thank you for making time to join our leaders regarding this matter. We position in solidarity over critical issues, one of which is the continued persecution of members of the opposition, supporters of the opposition, and now increasingly leaders within the opposition. This cannot continue to happen, and we look on as if it is okay. It is not okay. And that's why we are here. But perhaps before delving much into that, ladies and gentlemen, today is International Anti-Corruption Day. This is the day that was set after the passage of the United Nations Convention Against Corruption in 2003. To raise public awareness against corruption. I thought it's important to let you know about this day because in Uganda, according to a report by the Inspectorate of Government, we lose over 10 trillion shillings per year to corruption. No wonder. We have got ailing hospitals and health centers, dilapidated schools, broken roads, and poor service delivery in general. Because the money that is meant to fix these issues is stolen by people in government. And so it's important that we continue to raise awareness, public awareness against corruption, especially on a day as critical as this one, the International Anti-Corruption Day. We must all in unison be able to condemn corruption in all its forms, regardless who commits it. There are many people in government that do that, many public officials, many civil servants. And for us in the opposition, we must be aware to operate as carefully as we possibly can, so that we have the moral authority to speak about corruption. Otherwise, when our hands are at it, we then do not have the moral authority to speak about corruption. But when we ensure that we do what is right, we're able to be the moral conscience of the public regarding this matter. I thought I should throw that in. But now get to the substantive matter as to why we have got our leaders here today. The arrest of a senior leader, one of our senior leaders within the opposition, Dr. Kiza SJ. In fact, it was not an arrest, it was a kidnapping from Kenya by Uganda security operatives. It's something we are saying will not keep quiet about. We do belong to different political entities as the opposition, but we are more similar than we are different. The issues that make us similar, the hounding, the persecution, and all of that, it happens to all of us in various ways. And that should be reason for us, and especially our senior leaders, to come together and say no to this illegality being committed by the state using the military courts. Because it really is the state using these military courts to persecute for a long time opposition supporters, opposition leaders at various levels, and now very senior leaders of the opposition. And so we have welcomed our leaders in solidarity say no to this, to condemn it. Of this illegality that continues to happen, in solidarity of our senior leader and all the other opposition supporters. A lot has changed since you were here. A lot has changed. And they say, I'm going to the office of this member of parliament. They'll be around it. But these senior leaders in this country, some of whom have been in this parliament as members, had to go through a lot for them to access. It's problematic, but that's all the persecution that we are going through, and we are hoping than here, corruption. And I'm glad that we have some. Tell your speaker that I've dedicated this day to her. I salute you, colleague leaders, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Ugandans. And I want to thank you once again for hosting this very important engagement. Ladies and gentlemen, on the 20th day of November, the nation woke up to the disturbing news. Uganda discreetly, of course in violation of any known extradition processes, and although these two were not serving military men, they were arraigned before the General Court Martial in violation of the Constitution and in violation
and we call upon all Ugandans of good conscience to condemn it and continue court. And the regime presented 2 machine guns, claiming that they were found in my hotel room in Arua. Of course, eventually, the guns disappeared, and out of both international and local pressure, the charges were dropped. So, when we speak about the oppression and the injustice in military courts, ladies and gentlemen, we don't just talk about it as academic knowledge. This is lived experience. We've been through it, and so many Ugandans continue to go through it. The court martial has been turned into a tool of oppression by General Museveni because he has full control of it. He decides who gets charged in the court martial, what charges are preferred against that person, and who does or doesn't get bail from the court martial. He uses it to punish and intimidate his opponents, and we condemn that. Here, we come together knowing that Dr. Kizza Besigye and Haji Obed Kamulegeya cannot and will not get justice in that military court. We therefore jointly demand that Dr. Kizza Besigye's charges and Haji Obed Kamulegeya's charges be dropped, and if they can't be dropped, let them at least be charged in a civilian court, because they are civilians. We demand that those charges, those bogus charges, be dropped against them. And I mean, looking at common sense, even if Dr. Kizza Besigye and his colleague were found with guns in Kenya, how does that become a monopoly? How do those guns become a monopoly or even the business of the Ugandan military? We are aware that these charges in the court martial are meant to intimidate, coerce, and ultimately subdue the people of Uganda and their leaders, to stop them from challenging the corrupt system, the corrupt criminal regime of General Museveni. We are here to say to General Museveni that no amount of coercion, no amount of oppression, no amount of impunity will stop the people of Uganda from seeking better. And yes, no amount of intimidation will stop us from offering leadership to these people until we get to a country that... So many dictators have done exactly, or even worse, to their people like Museveni has done to the people of Uganda. But history has taught us that they ultimately come crumbling down when people don't give up. From the dictators that we've seen in history, and yesterday it was Assad of Syria who has oppressed the people of Syria, him and his family, for more than 50 years. They came crumbling down yesterday. So yesterday Assad in Syria, and hopefully tomorrow it will be Museveni in Uganda. We ask the people of Uganda never to give up on hope, to keep fighting for what they rightly deserve, to keep pushing for liberation, because there's no doubt that their freedom is very soon coming. I want to thank you all for listening to me and request other colleague leaders to also give their comments. So it's my humble pleasure to invite you, General Mugisha Muntu, to kindly come and give your remarks. Thank you very much.
Of our national coordinator, Honorable Alex Salaso, and on behalf of all the colleagues in Alliance for National Transformation, we've come to jointly stand with the rest of the opposition parties, stand in solidarity with Dr. Kizza Besigye and Haji Tariq, were abducted in Kenya and have been arraigned before the military courts. our demands are that Dr. Chiza Besigye and Haji Obed Rutare be tried in the civil courts because both are civilians. I would like also to talk about another aspect. We should make every Ugandan concerned about this particular case. It's not every day that governments go under